You're listening to Gladiodrome, the official podcast of the Deep State. Opinions expressed herein are not our own. I'm Fleshsimulator.
And I am Rusty Cage.
And so today we're going to be talking about the most recent event in the world of murder, which was Charlie Kirk getting shot. So,
right.
Yeah, it's
the big news that everyone's talking about. It's obviously the most horrific thing that visuals that a lot of people have been seeing, but opinions do seem to be varying quite a bit.
Yeah, like just to start off, the visuals on this were unbelievable. And I don't mean to say this in a way that's like callous or anything, but just like, goddamn, that video that was going around like right up close was haunting.
Yeah, it was. It was. It's definitely something that no one should be able to look at and feel glee for
Yes.
without lacking some sort of humanity inside themselves. Like, it is disturbing. There was a lot of blood. There was a lot of very visual gore.
Yeah, like and it's just like a real, like, because I don't know, like, and I've been in sort of arguments or, you know, disagreements with people, various ones, like over the last, 48 hours or so, with the kind of, with the sort of, like, basically what I keep having people, like, take away is, this idea that, oh, like, well, if we had been behaved better, they wouldn't be, trying to do fascism. And it's just like, it's not even so much that, nor is it even...
What do you mean by that? Do you mean who's behaved better and who's doing the fascism? Okay,
so let me... I say this like... I feel like I brought that up in a way that it would only really make sense if, you had already been having the first half of that thought that I've been trying to elucidate. Basically, like, I've seen a lot of people pushing back against this, pushing back against kind of criticisms of the just unrepentant glee, or shameless glee, and, joking and laughing, and, first off, I'm someone that, it's not the fact that it is, making light of, speaking ill of the dead, making light of a serious event, whatever, because I also do that. I also speak ill of the dead frequently.
I'm guilty of that. I constantly do that. I try to check myself on it because it's so easy to do when you're completely disconnected from something or from someone. If you don't really know them, or you're not really familiar with their work, it doesn't truly affect you at all.
Yeah.
But if you have some image about them, you see them die, it's easy to make a joke and be like, haha, this is levity, or I forget the word.
And it's easy to kind of justify it to yourself as, oh, it's just gallows humor, but then it just kind of, expanding beyond the scope of what would be traditionally gallows humor. And, I'm someone, I spent probably 8 hours a day between the ages of 12 and 18 on 4chan. So, I'm pretty desensitized to, immediately making light of tragedy. Last week I spent half the day, telling people that Sandy Hook was an accident.
Sure, which, I guess you have to be really careful about that, or else, you might have a multi-$100 billion lawsuit on your hands.
I mean, the reason that they, behind that lawsuit, right? It wasn't necessarily even Sandy Hook. It was because Alex Jones blew the whistle on Prism.
No, explain that to me. No, I'm not sure. Because I remember when Sandy Hook came out, and it seemed like they were just trying to shut him down for some reason, obviously, other than just the fact that he might have said some distasteful things that could have caused harm to a family. But the amount of money that was involved in that lawsuit just made zero sense.
Yeah, the thing with that lawsuit is that basically, because he did all that stuff, right after Sandy Hook happened. And, it was... like, I think a lot of the kind of coverage that he had of it was not necessarily in the best taste. I think he
It was
wasn't...
flippant.
Yeah, and it was also just, like, I think he was wrong about a lot of it. And, like, but the thing with that was that after that happened, he got in, like, a little bit of trouble for, like, a month, and then it was back to normal up until 2015, when he covered two things on InfoWars. One of them was Prism, which was, like, the NSA's giant, like, panopticon, like, just broad spectrum surveillance program for each, like, the thing where it's like, the quote-unquote government file for each person. It was that.
Sure.
And then at the same, like, and then, like, within the month of that, he was also covering a lot of the original Pizzagate stuff. And that's when all of the lawsuits, like, spun back up into, like, the giant monolith that he got hit with.
It made sense to take him down at that point because he was actually speaking on something that mattered. And so how they take him down is, instead of trying to take him down for things that are kind of outside the scope of the average person's understanding of the inner workings of government and surveillance state, which could be very confusing, they had to appeal to average people's emotions, which is...
Yeah, dead.
He made the parents of dead children feel bad.
Yeah, and, like, they also, it was to avoid a Streisand effect of, like,
right,
people being like, well, I didn't know about this until it was all over the news that Alex Jones was getting sued for $1 billion over it. So that's why I was over that. But getting back to the...
So what is Prism? What is Prism, and then how does that tie into things like Oracle or Palantir?
So really a lot of it... So as from my understanding of it, and this is all stuff that I basically this is all stuff that the cat is long out of the bag on, but also still a fairly touchy subject, so I'm not going to go into every nook and cranny of it. It all spun off, like, these are all things that spun off from... Okay, do you know about the Octopus murders?
No, not off the top of my head.
Like, I forget the guy's name, not Gary Webb, but the other guy that was found, like, in a hotel bathtub, committed suicide by 2 shots to the head.
Always.
And it's this whole, like, kind of late 80s, early 90s conspiracy that has tendrils that stretch out everywhere. But a lot of the core of it was around something called promis, Promis. And it was prosecutors, regulatory, official, management inventory system. Like, it's a case management system, allegedly, but really what it was this sort of, like it was the kind of thing where, like, it was and this is based on sort of piecing together what I've been able to know about it, like a very flexible piece of software that allowed you to create individual, like, entries for entities and then connect them. And so, basically that was being used by, it's being used to create case files on, people in the country.
Now, is this something that's isolated? Is this a specific department, a program that doesn't reach out to other programs? Is it like the FBI creating a case file on something? Or I guess what I'm trying to think of is how these programs might be tying in everything. So there's an over-encompassing database on every aspect of someone's life from all different aspects, whether it's medical records or online activity.
That's basically exactly what this is, where it's like, originally this was a private company that was trying to sell this as software, and then there was this whole big debacle, because the company was called Inslaw, and, like, and again, this is all just from memory, so I'm sure I'm going to be corrected endlessly, but these are the broad strokes of it, at least. It's a company called Inslaw. the U.S. government contracted them to use Promis, and then basically they did sort of a hostile takeover of the company and just sort of seized it.
Okay.
And I think the guy that was the CEO, they wound up putting in jail or something. And so, like, basically they're just like, oh, this is too good for this to be on the market as software. And so that just sort of got rolled into, the quote-unquote deep state. And,
right.
like, it sort of permutated from there, where everything, like... And, like, so the origin of Palantir was that Palantir basically was founded as a result of, like, basically post 9/11, because of the kind of reporting that came out about CIA and the FBI not interfacing with one another.
With, like, Snowden and whatnot, that was his whole thing. Wasn't he working on a cloud system that was supposed to be an intermediary between all these different agencies, and then... Well, there he started seeing faults.
But yeah, like that. So that was like probably a decade later.
Okay, sorry.
Like, because Palantir started in like 2003.
Shit.
Yeah, but like they basically were just like, hey, what if we just created this company that was just like I saw someone on Twitter do this analysis where it was just like it was sort of like a fake green text of Peter Thiel's like thought process on creating Palantir, where he's like, one of these days the deep state is going to need software for something, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start the deep state software company and call it Palantir. And then it was like, like, okay, cool. And so he just found like 5 people to be like, hey, just sit around and just be ready. And then, sometime in like the early 20-teens, the deep state shows up and goes like, hey, so which one of you guys is our software company? And they're like, oh, that's us. And
gotcha. All right. So they're just planning ahead of time.
Yeah, like, genuinely, that is probably about the most accurate, like, kind of realistic explanation of the founding of Palantir. And, like basically, not the founding of Palantir, but, like, the Palantir becoming the thing that we know it as today.
That everyone's talking about today. So, but it's not just Palantir. So, I mean, what is Prism then? Is that a different version of Palantir? Are all these programs trying to do the same thing? Or are they all vying for government contracts to create like overarching understanding of personal, I don't know, individuals' daily lives and their patterns? So basically,
yes. Like, the difference between the three is that Promis was originally a piece of software by the company Inslaw. This was like in the early 90s, and then up through probably the early 2000s. Palantir is a private company, but is like a quasi-government entity, just by virtue of it being so incredibly... Like, Palantir is at this point the same kind of thing as Booz Allen, which was where Snowden worked.
Okay.
Because, like, Snowden didn't work for the NSA. Snowden worked for Booz Allen, and that's how... But they do so much, like, spooky-ass government contracting that's how he was able to leak all that shit.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah, they were contracted in.
Yeah, but Palantir is a government contractor, and then Prism is a in-house program by the National Security Agency.
I see.
And, like, the Prism is sort of like it's all very, like, and again, this is all just, the kind of surface level, like, shit cats are already out of the bag on, like, stuff. But the main thing here is that, like, there has been a, there's been a program with a name starting with P and heavily relying on the letter R.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. PR is like the reoccurring theme here.
Tracks everyone everywhere with everything they do ever.
Okay, and I guess I only brought this up just because I don't necessarily know about a lot of this. I mean,
Most people don't.
I'm quite layman, and so like Palantir is obviously the one everyone's talking about because it's out in the open, and you have JD Vance and Peter Thiel and
Yeah.
all these people. So it's
Alex
in the
Karp.
lexicon now.
Yeah. And they're
But
like they've become kind of the figurehead story. Like, it's like how people used to say Xerox instead of, make a photo facsimile.
gotcha.
Where it's like, or Kleenex or whatever, where Palantir is just sort
Yeah.
of the brand name that represents just Orwellian panopticon tech dystopia.
Right.
And like the thing with that though is that like it wasn't invented by Palantir. That's been happening for a long time. And
For sure. I guess I didn't realize. So you're talking about Prism being around since when did you say that came around?
the news about Prism broke in like 2015, sort of as like basically it kind of spun off from the Snowden stuff, and Alex Jones was the one who really publicized that part of it.
Okay. All right.
And this
all
was
right.
like 2014, 2015.
That's right. So
Promis.
so this was a program that was already in. Sorry. Go ahead.
Promis was the one that has been around since like the late 80s, early 90s.
And so what they wouldn't even have the technology back then to truly do what's kind of necessary to create these overarching files on individuals now. I can't imagine Promise would have had that in the 80s. I don't know what technology they would have been using.
Yeah, like back in the 80s, it was mostly just like, the kind of stats that you would see on like a character select screen, like, age, date of birth, location, job, like basic just stats and sort of, social security number, whatever.
Right.
But then, like, really it kind of seems like as, like, the way it's evolved is that it sort of develops a new, kind of, packaging or branding for each new sort of level of how much they're just completely putting you under a microscope from birth to death.
Yeah, because I would think now, I mean, listen, I'm sorry. I know I'm derailing this entire thing because we started off moving into Alex Jones and then why he got that multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, and that was because he was talking about Promise or Prism early on, and then that just connected the dots for me where I'm saying, okay, I'm familiar with that concept of, now there's like biometric data being collected on everyone just through our cellular devices, and all of our social media can be connected between each other. There's off-platform activity, as they will say, so you can be banned from a platform because you said something on Facebook that TikTok didn't like, or fucking whatever.
Yeah, no, like, dude, I was running my mouth way too much about, like, COVID early on and, like, basically lab leak stuff. But this was in, like, like, summer of 2020, and I got shadow banned so hard that, like, I didn't get a new follower until I completely, like, I had to make a new email account.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure this is what killed my channel. I mean, I'm making excuses, but like,
no, I mean,
2020, there was something that happened in 2020 for sure, and
it zapped everyone.
Yeah, everyone got zapped. Everything was connected at that point, and it started creating a paranoia in the paranoid brain where you're like, damn, am I being watched from all over? Am I being punished for something I didn't even do on this site? Mm-hmm. But there wasn't any evidence that this was true, that there was actual internal documents or files on people saying, upvote or downvote this or escalate or de-escalate certain content, even though everyone kind of had an understanding that this is how the internet has been working
for forever. Like, I mean, as long as we've both been adults, it's been like this. But I think it's just,
I guess so. I just didn't know.
Yeah, like
Right. It's becoming more and more clear, and at the same time, it's becoming less and less you're crazy if you think this, because now when you see younger generations also experiencing, they're coming up on the internet and they're trying to make a name for themselves, and they have to come up with a new accounts constantly because the old ones, just the views die. It's like a ho-hum for them. When it was happening to me early on, I was like, this is devastating because I don't know what to fucking do.
Yeah, because like when it first happens to you, it's like, oh man, like I guess I fell off, like I suck now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's just like, wait, what do you mean? Like, you follow me and have the notification bell rung and you're still not seeing stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was crazy. And that was like, oh, shut up, stupid influencer. But it is true. And now it's becoming so commonplace. And this is kind of what I worry about, is the desensitization to this type of, what at the time when it was first happening, when I first started seeing it, felt very disturbing and incorrect. And now it's like, well, that's just another way of playing the game, just another rule that we have to abide by.
Yeah, I guess, so in my case, I feel like it probably didn't feel as disturbing for me. Because, I grew up in, I grew up in the area, the sort of DC suburbs are like, it's Glowville, USA.
I would imagine, yeah.
And everyone had family, or, they themselves worked, or their parents worked, or they had family who worked for some kind of, shadowy, spooky place. And, growing up surrounded by those people, you start to sort of just subliminally or subconsciously internalize, at least kind of the broader, the broader strokes or the bigger picture, just based on the sort of little bits and pieces of oh no, don't do that.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the difference too. I grew up in a very rural area where the internet was just a fascinating new thing, and I have no understanding of government coming out of some small country town, so it all just seems a lot more scary whenever it starts to reveal itself.
Oh yeah, and I think I've just been scared of it the whole fucking time, because it's like the thing.
Oh right.
Everyone always, the advice I always got was basically not only is the internet forever, they know everything that you've ever done on the internet since the beginning of time.
Yeah, and
people are
I'm surprised
starting to pick up on the wait, what do you mean? They know everything? They know everything? It's
well, has that been true for how long? Because now we see
since they built
the younger.
That's been true since they built that giant fucking dataplex out in Utah. The one where
what year was that?
I want to say probably. Actually, I can look that up right now. Because that's probably relevant. I would say
recent.
Loose estimate 2010.
Yeah. Okay. 2010. Is that not Oracle?
That's not Oracle. That's the NSA. Okay.
That's the NSA.
May 2014.
Okay. Right. So right. Very recently then. I guess whenever I see these younger politicians coming out, for instance, J.D. Vance, where he's got a shady past that seems like it's awfully fabricated at times, but then you'll see photographs of him in high school. Because, how old is he? What is he, 39, something like that?
Yeah.
Mid to late 30s? So he's a young guy who, in my age group, now you're seeing the politicians, the cringy photos that they took in high school. I don't even know if that's true, but how did every other politician get away with that? Gen X politicians, boomer politicians, obviously, they didn't have that type of file or the technology or the ability for them to embarrass themselves by putting out so much information online. But every politician going forward from a young age, you're not going to be able to run for president without having to answer to that Discord chat where you said the N-word or you post a picture of you dressed like a furry.
Yeah, I think it's kind of by intention. Because what that means is that pretty soon, like, the only kind of person that is going to be able to run for president is, like, the sort of, like, inhuman, completely, consistently goal-oriented, weirdly asexual, like, robot man, like, like Pete Buttigieg.
Sure, Pete Buttigieg, but what about this? I mean, if we went back to even... Isn't everyone getting desensitized to this? I hope that everyone is getting desensitized to the fact that people do have faults, and that not everything that everyone's ever thought, they will post shit that'll make them look bad 10 years later, and they change their opinion on it. Whereas, like, someone like, FBI Director Hoover, however he got compromised early on, it probably wouldn't happen today. If he came out as gay or something, then it wouldn't be like, oh, now we have to sell out the government because there's a picture of him sucking dick or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that. So I think part of it is that, that's why like, they kind of need to just, like, up the ante more and more and create, more and more extreme kinds of blackmail.
Of course, right.
It's like,
blackmail that cannot be accepted by anyone, and I think we kind of know what that is.
Well, yeah, no, it's like, it's moved on from, like, oh yeah, like, you can, like, it would be so, like, there would be such devastating consequences for, like, it, oh yeah, here's, like, a, picture of you holding another guy's hand that comes out, back in, Hoover's time, and now it's like, okay, yeah, here's, like, the video, like, here's, like, 4K video of you, like,
murdering a child.
Yeah, like, eating, like, a fried baby.
Right, exactly. And yeah, something that it's going to take 1,000 years or for it to be accepted in Western countries, or maybe 1 year to be accepted in China.
Oh my god. Oh god, that makes me, like, so I have a party trick that I, like to do.
Where you eat a baby?
No, not where I eat a baby, but where I say, like, all right, name an animal, and whatever animal that you name, if you Google fried animal, like, fried whatever that animal is, you will find, like, a Chinese website, or, like, you'll find, like, a Chinese cooking example of them eating, like, that animal fried.
Yeah, right. What was the one that caused COVID? The
bat, the pangolin.
The pangolin, that's right.
I feel like
never thought about eating a pangolin before. I know it looks crunchy, and it might taste actually good. And here's the other thing: I bet every time you Google those videos, or Google whether or not you can find, like, a fried image of that animal, it's probably under the auspices that this is good for your sexual longevity and it makes you hard for a long time.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how they sell their shark fin soup.
Yeah, and, I mean, I guess, like, who knows? I haven't tried any of it. Maybe it works.
It might, yeah.
But, yeah, like, looping back around to the whole kind of, like, how do people, oh god, what am I trying to say here? Like how did Gen X get away with, all the stuff they did? And, like, I think what we kind of...
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think with that, it's just that so much of it predated the internet. And more specifically, predated social media. But,
yeah, exactly. So I guess I'm saying, like, if in the future it's going to be it's already starting to happen. Everyone's going to have already said the bad thing. They're already going to have a tweet from 15 years ago that they're going to get called out on, and it's going to be like, yeah, well, maybe I did say it, but it's a different time. Or is everyone going to have to be this pretend prestigious, perfectly clean, false character of themselves? Are they going to have to reinvent themselves and change their name?
I mean, I think
to avoid the true criticism of their backstory.
Yeah, I think what we're really kind of starting to see is that it's definitely much more of the former, where it's like there was the big kind of wave of everyone getting canceled, and, like, a lot of those cancellations stuck around, but now it just seems it seems like people's hearts really aren't in it as much anymore, and also it's just sort of like, okay, yeah, I've seen it before, and
it's exhausting.
yeah, and people don't really care that much anymore. Like, what I think we are going to start seeing, though, is that if ever you are someone that people are looking for a reason to be mad at you, anything and everything can now be dug up.
That's right, right. And people also, the one thing that I've seen is that everyone seems to have the ability to be hypocritical, obviously, against their own transgressions. And so if they want to make you hate a politician or to hate someone in the public sphere, they can easily do it just by painting a bad character profile of them, and people will just go along with it, especially younger generations or people. Everyone's got something to hide, but they will ignore that if they can attack you for it and then pretend to be holier than thou.
Yeah,
this is obvious. It's cliche at this point.
But it's like, I think what it is more is that, like, what it reinforces is this sort of, dystopian, like, God is watching you subliminal feeling of just, like, because now it's just like, whenever you, like, it used to be, like, if you hadn't, done anything wrong, or, like, a lot of times, if you just hadn't within, the last 5 years or so knowingly had someone photograph you using, like, a big old film camera, doing whatever, like, you could be pretty safe that, it would just at most be hearsay. But
right
now, like, when you go up against the sort of nebulous powers that be, whatever shadowy forces might have, a incentive to see your demise or, public decline, like, now you are going to be paranoid about, like, oh my god, everything that I've ever done. Where it's like, oh my god, like, was my laptop webcam secretly on?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so, like...
So what about this, though? So didn't the elites kind of already figure this out? And I'm going to be cliche here, but didn't they already figure out mutually assured character assassination in the way that if they all, in some fraternal type of sense, prove that they're willing to do something that's completely despicable, that could never be revealed, then no one could ever really hold that as blackmail over each other because everyone is guilty. And that seems to be the binding factor between the ruling class.
Oh, yeah.
They all seem to be pedophiles. They all seem to be eating fried babies.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Getting pissed on. So what's the difference then? Isn't that same aspect is going to happen to the everyday man where it's like...
Okay, so
yeah, I said the N-word.
I disagree with that because what this is it's not a mutually assured destruction of, like, we all know each of us are individually doing this. It's like it's less of like a network in between individual points, and it's more like the sun, where it's just like you have one entity, which is sort of like the global surveillance apparatus that has just been openly telling you, like there's one entity that's just looking at everyone and recording the data on everyone, and it's already been made pretty clear that, like, oh yeah, like we are spying on you, we will continue to spy on you, and if you, like, really start to inconvenience us, we will dig through the stuff we have on you and start publishing shit.
Right, and I guess even going against my own point of thinking, I was thinking optimistically almost to the point where I would think that everyone had done something perhaps that didn't put them in the best light that could be revealed later. However, that's just not how human nature works, because in the end, your opponents, anyone who is tricked or doesn't dislike you or dislikes you for whatever reason, they're going to hate you for whatever you did wrong, even if they did the exact same thing. They'll just pretend like they never did it.
Yeah, it's just
right,
they're looking for a reason.
That's right. And unless they're giving, and that kind of ties back to the Charlie Kirk thing, where people hate him. They hate him, and they'll celebrate the death.
Yeah, and it's like he's like, and okay, I'm glad you mentioned that, because like with the amount of vitriol that I've seen towards him, like he has the exact same political beliefs or had the exact same political beliefs and opinions as probably 60% of the fathers of everyone listening to this, and 99% of the grandfathers. Like,
right.
He wasn't, like David Duke.
That's right.
He was
he wasn't a radical.
He was
at all
a Republican.
Exactly. Yeah, and milquetoast at that.
Yeah, and so actually, like, this is, I'm glad that you circle back around to this, because this is really the main thing that I wanted to talk about here. Like, okay, I need to think. I don't want to just jump straight into, like, going off the deep end with my thoughts, but the result of this assassination has been massively inflamed tensions between the right wing and left wing in this country.
Right.
And everyone...
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario. And the kind of discussion that's been going on all day is, so who was the guy that shot Charlie Kirk? And the real kind of debate, unfortunately, seems to be like, was it a left-wing guy or was it a right-wing guy? Was it, and, they found there was more debate early on where a lot of people were saying that it was, a far-right attack on Charlie Kirk, either as a false flag or because they thought he wasn't far-right enough. That was coming mostly from the left. The right was like, this is, some Antifa communist coming to, blow Charlie Kirk away. And that seems to be largely what the kind of argument, or like, the discourse or debate about what happened to Charlie Kirk. The outlines of the debate, like where the discussion is.
It's right. It's the obvious answer is going to be the easiest ones. That's the easiest to comprehend to the average person who's kind of been indoctrinated into this political binary, which is the same binary that they caught my generation, the millennials, in, the same one that I grew up in with my boomer parents, is that if someone attacks someone on one side of the political side, it's got to be the complete opposite. It has to be one of these two people. It's either trans people who disagreed with you saying, I don't know what the fuck Charlie Kirk's points are on all this shit, and it doesn't really fucking matter.
Yeah, you shouldn't be for any political beliefs. Like,
No, you shouldn't. And I mean, obviously that goes into the whole thing of words are violence, but how easy it is to persuade people, because it's not easy to think outside of the box on why this could happen. It's much easier to think, well, they killed him because he said bad things about that the left disagreed with, whatever. And so some radical on the left decided to commit this act, or like you said, right, he wasn't right enough. Maybe he was too soft on Israel, or wasn't putting himself out there like George Lincoln Rockwell or whatever, and so they had to kill him, which doesn't make any sense. Why would you kill him if he wasn't radical enough for your side? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And so my take on the matter, and I'm gonna just straight up call it like it is, because, and I'll get into kind of the outlines of why I think this, or why this is my analysis of this situation. As soon as I saw that, like, oh wait, no, there was the old guy who supposedly shot him wasn't actually the shooter. He had an air rifle that was a diversion. It was immediately like, okay, well, this is a deep event. This was a foreign assassination. And
what was that guy's name? Because wasn't he's like a reoccurring agitator at events and has been a career agitator, isn't he?
Yeah, somebody, his last name is Zinn, I think, right?
I forget. I looked it up earlier.
Zinn, I believe. I might be completely wrong on that, but I have been getting people DMing me about this guy and like his background all day.
George Zinn.
George Zinn, yes. Like, as soon as I saw that, it was like, okay, well, this was clearly a hit. And the reason for that is, like, and I'll just be, again, completely honest, the only country that I could see assassinating an American political figure on American soil for reasons relating to Middle East foreign policy are countries that have already done that. Country has already done that.
Country that has already done that and has potentially done this many times before.
And, like, all right, sweet. Okay, we're back from a quick break. I'm just going to pick back up and just kind of quit beating around the bush. I think Israel killed Charlie Kirk to distract from the fact that they just bombed Qatar, like, the day earlier without... Okay. Basically without U.S. Support.
Right. Did they not take out the prime minister? What all did they do to Qatar or Qatar?
It seems like they didn't... I don't know what they achieved. Like, it seems like it was a little bit of just a, like, wet fart of a bombing. But with the blowback from that initially was intense, and like it was bad enough that like immediately after they did that, like it seems like apparently, you know, they talked to post neurological event Donnie J, and he was like, yeah, go ahead, and then they're like, sweet, we can finally do this, and then they did that, and then everyone else in the White House was like, no, dude, what are you doing? No. And
so, but you're saying, so they're doing something that is incorrect on the world stage.
Yes.
And they're not, allowed to do this. And so, but everyone had already been talking about this, or at least I had heard a lot about Israel attacking Qatar. It had been happening, but Israel haven't they been doing things already that are so against, the UN? They're all war crimes, and everyone sees it. It's already in full light. They're losing the propaganda battle. Why do they even have to pretend anymore? Like, why try to create a false event to distract people if they're already able to get away with what they're doing as is?
Because this time they attacked a country with more oil money than God that's a major U.S. ally, instead of, Yemen or Iran or, Gaza or whatever. Like, it's become clear that, like, they're not going to be held accountable for human rights abuses. But
ever, no, that's
over. I think that, like, I think it's a different story if there's going to be blowback for, like, basically if there's going to be blowback for us and blowback for them, if all of a sudden they attack the incredibly fabulously wealthy little small Gulf country that they just hosted the FIFA World Cup, with their the country that
blowback from who
60,000 slaves to death just to build a stadium.
Right, but like, where's that blowback coming from? Who's doing that?
From anyone that is buying oil from Qatar.
Okay, so then where does the distraction element, or where does Charlie Kirk come into this? Why would it be necessary to kill Charlie Kirk in order to create a distraction from this? Because who's going to be distracted that actually... Qatar's not going to care if Charlie Kirk got assassinated. Of
course not.
Wouldn't most people that would care about this, who's actually paying attention to it, why would they be like, oh shit, I guess I don't give a fuck about Qatar anymore because Charlie Kirk got shot, and so what's this all about? Except for the average American who's not really paying attention, and it's just on the baseline politics of left and right binary.
What I think, I think what they were trying to do is, because I'm certain that, Qatar is the kind of place that they're more than willing to be pragmatic about this and, sort of work behind the scenes to quietly come to an understanding.
Okay.
So I don't think the issue is with Qatar necessarily. Like, what I think Israel really didn't want is for this story to break through and become saturated within the broader, like, pro-Palestine movement.
Sure, just to add to their already losing battle.
Because it's like, this is something that, like, they objectively did, and I think that it's one of those things where, like, I think this is the kind of thing that most people assume isn't as big of a deal as it is, and is something that's actually a really big deal, but just the optics of having something that's a really big deal, having mass amounts of people know about it and be bringing it up, even if they don't know why it's a big deal.
Do you think that they're fearing something, I don't know, a Nepali type of situation where the citizens turn against it? Are they trying to convince their own citizens? I just don't understand how... if you talk to the average person, or if you're just lurking social media on Facebook or where all the normies are at, they don't fucking know anything about Qatar. They're not talking about Qatar. They don't care. All they care about is the baseline simple things. So it's like Israel could have the fact that they got this far with Palestine with really no... They had social pushback, but there was no actual pushback. There's no actual shit happening against them that they can't do. Maybe I'm stupid on that point, but it seems like they're just getting away with it. I just don't understand why you have to blow up the Twin Towers in order to go to war with countries. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, so I think that, like, the real difference is that, like, this is the first time that they have kind of poked the bear with a country with outsized influence.
Okay.
Like, I think that it's the kind of thing where, like, the UN can kind of look the other way or be, pushed.
Aren't they horrifically corrupt? Isn't that the whole nature of the UN is to look the other way and to make money? It's just like a mob organization.
But it's more like, so, like, if you look at all of the South African atrocities throughout the entire continent of Africa in, through the 70s through the 90s, like early 90s, or like longer than that, but like I'm talking like
Rwanda.
Well, Rwanda was later, but like I'm talking specifically like the Afrikaner Boer government in South, like apartheid South Africa, and yes, they've been doing horrible stuff the entire time, but like the era I'm talking about is like the the Civil Cooperation Bureau era. It would be like if all of a sudden they just sort of were like, and also we're gonna go do some extrajudicial killings in, like, let's say, Switzerland. It's like that would have hit the news way worse. And it's like when all of a sudden it happens in some place that has the ability to really make a stink about it, then that's gonna... and they're, just caught, dead to rights doing something wrong, that it gives a lot of, like, creative... like, and, like, everyone with half a brain has been watching them just, kill a quarter of the population of Gaza since, 2023. Like...
Right. Like, they've completely lost that. They've lost it to boomers. I mean, I've talked to my boomer father who...
Oh, yeah, but, like, there's still, like, a holdout portion of people that, like, the people that believe the New York Times, for example.
Sure.
Like, the people who are, like, the mainstream official source Wikipedia Zionist. I think that this has the ability to penetrate that, like, last remaining holdout.
And so are you saying, though, then, that by creating a distraction I mean, specifically in America, because I don't know how much Charlie Kirk permeates into other countries.
Just for America.
Yeah, but I really don't think America already has a... I mean, America has a terrible opinion, for the most part, against Israel's atrocities. And for this to be a distraction against what they're doing, it's not really distracting anyone. It might take away from, like, what the new mainstream media, where all the old guard media is now just moving to TikTok and YouTube and whatnot. Who's that distracting? It seems like as a distraction, it's just to... Okay, all right. It's to turn people's sensibilities... I get it. It's to turn people's sensibilities away from Israel and to turn it on each other. So everyone's... I get it. Sorry. They're distracted by the debate. Now everyone's bickering over whether or not this is right or wrong, and then Israel can kind of continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah, like
it's not like they're not being excused by this.
Yeah, no,
by any means.
Like, all they wanted to do was be out of the hot seat and, just be like, a smoke bomb.
Yeah, and everyone's already sick of the UFO and UAP shit.
Yeah,
They've tried that probably about 12 times.
Yeah, they
no one
tried
cares.
that out, and they were just like, hey, yeah, we, we fucked one of the aliens. Like, it fucked nasty, and, like, no one cares. And
yeah, right. They go, what does this matter to me? Do I have to go into work tomorrow? Is the question that everyone always responds with.
Yeah, like...
And here's the thing about the Charlie Kirk assassination. I wanted to bring this up earlier, and I want to see what you think about this. This was a different type of assassination. How many times have we seen these type of political assassinations done with the extreme presence that it has? It's in clear light. It's in front of so many people. It's a JFK. Everyone sees it. Everyone's shocked and affected by it.
It's exactly
when's the last
JFK.
Is that Muammar Gaddafi? I'm trying to think. Who was the last time that anything like that happened? Saddam Hussein being hung? Like, when was the last time we actually saw an assassination where everyone had to watch it and everyone can feel the effects of it and they can see the blood, they can see the gore?
I think that, like...
It's a spectacle at that point.
I think the video that went around of the Christchurch mosque shooting...
That was big, for sure, yeah.
Like, I think that was
But they took that down.
Well, yeah, it's like it... But I think that, like, the last... Oh, man, I really don't know. Like, because, yeah, like... So it would have been...
You're right, I wasn't... Right, Gaddafi, so, right, the Arabs... That was Arab Spring, right?
Yeah, so that was... Yeah, I think it was, actually.
I remember those videos being very public and seeing them on YouTube, and that was kind of a Gaza-esque style thing where you see, a father holding a dying child running through a war-torn country, and it's a little bit of the wag the dog stuff where you create the spectacle, write the script, and make sure everyone sees it. And
yeah,
if they wanted to kill Charlie Kirk, most people die in silence.
Yeah,
they get shot in their head, and then it comes out like, oh, this person died.
With Charlie Kirk, they hit him in the common carotid artery.
Do you think that was on purpose? Do you think that was just a happy coincidence for them?
Like,
whoever they are.
So what I think happened, and so it's not that... Okay, so first of all, like, making a shot on, someone that size, like a head that size, and I'm not even saying that to be mean, like,
yeah.
But, like, it was a sitting target from 146 yards.
Okay.
That's not that hard of a shot to make.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with those types of shots, but that's what I've heard. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, like, because it's so I do think it was like a, precision, either PMC or Mossad or whatever hit. To get it out of the way, I do think that was what happened, but people claiming that, like, the distance and precision is why is, like, that's ridiculous. Like, I feel like people, like, so in the, anyone being trained for, like, an infantry role, like, with it, like, they'll do a couple of weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks of training with a rifle, and they'll be hitting, man-sized targets out at, like, 500 yards with iron sights.
Okay, so it doesn't take training. It doesn't take severe training. Like, so, because, all right, I had this idea that it should not be normalized that just a random disgruntled freak of sorts can pick up a gun and should be able to make any sort of sniper shot from a rooftop.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and accurately hit someone in the neck. Like, that should not be normal at all. Because if you look at a lot of these school shootings and a lot of these shootings, they miss most of the time. The death rate, for the most part, is very, very low unless they're super tapped in and locked into what they're about to do. But it sounds like, from what you're saying, it doesn't really take that much to be locked in.
Because it's like with this, it's like he's sitting completely still, and it was a clear line of sight, and it was, like 150 yards on a stationary target. I think that almost, like, anyone who's at least shot a gun before, like, I wouldn't say anyone who's at least shot a gun, but, like, it's not really that hard of a shot to make. Like,
unless, as you said, unless they were aiming for his face.
Like, I mean, I think that I think the thing that is interesting is that most people, like, if they were actually, and like, let me get into this. Like, the average person, if this was someone who wasn't, like, a trained killer who had specific orders, I think they would have aimed for his head.
Okay.
Because, like, that wouldn't have been, because, like, we both seen the video, like, shooting him directly in the carotid artery was, like, what made it so unbelievably visceral of a video.
Now, and that's not even a normal shot, or wouldn't it just be a body shot? Could it have been?
So this is actually something interesting. He was wearing a bulletproof vest.
Or was he? See, I couldn't tell, because wasn't he jumping around before? I was trying to look at his shirt to see if I saw. At times, it looked like you could see plate armor, or it wasn't plate armor.
He was wearing plates.
And so, did it ricochet off his plate and hit him in the neck?
No, he got shot. So the shooter was on top of a roof,
right?
And he got shot from the top down through the neck basically into the plate on his back. So that's why there was no exit wound. The reason he was wearing plates is because he had told people, like multiple people in the days leading up to this, that he was afraid that he was going to be assassinated by Israel.
Now, I heard... Okay. So, Harrison Smith, he tweeted that viral tweet out that said that he didn't want to name names. I'm not sure if he did, because at this point I haven't really followed up far enough to see if this has been revealed. He said there's an unnamed person that spoke to me and said that Charlie Kirk was worried that he would be assassinated by Israel. And so that's why he was wearing plates. But then what truth do we have of this from Harrison Smith? I don't have any reason to distrust him or to trust him, because I'm not that familiar with him.
I mean, I don't think that there's like it's all hearsay one way or another, but that is absolutely the one reason that I think would explain him just casually wearing plates while talking to a bunch of college students in Utah. Like, he clearly wasn't afraid of one of them shooting him.
Right, and a bulletproof scarf would have been more appropriate.
I mean, yeah, but I think that those are hard to find. And also, that would have still broken his neck.
That's right.
It was a 30-06. But, yeah, like, the thing that, like, with that is, like, he is someone who, because of his, basically one-for-one overlap boomer, like, political views, has been kind of one of the foremost, like probably the foremost pro-Israel right-wing political guy under the age of, I'd say, 35.
That's been the biggest criticism of him that a lot of people have been talking about, is the fact that he's been, maybe besides recently, but at least publicly stating, is he's like saying, no, we don't have to worry about the Epstein files. He's kind of like playing ball with something that seemed very odd and off.
Yeah, and within the past month, he's kind of, cut ties. Like, basically, I think he saw the way the public tide was turning of, like, it's no longer even remotely acceptable to be running cover for them.
Mm-hmm.
And was like, yeah, guys, I think that, maybe ethnic cleansing is a bad way of doing things. Yeah, I think that maybe Jeffrey Epstein didn't win the lottery twice.
Yeah, he was on Ben Shapiro, and he was talking about, is it maybe time that we start discussing whether or not Israel is responsible for committing a ethnic cleansing and genocide in Gaza. And that was an outspoken thing that, as far as I know, and again, I don't watch his show, I don't follow him that closely to see exactly when the shift might have happened, but
it was recently.
It was recently that he started being outspoken and kind of critical of Israel in a way that he was skeptical of if he can even get away with doing this. Yeah.
And I think from that, like, that basically signaled the end of, like, okay, well, shit, we just lost our, we lost our big conservative, like, our big young right-wing mouthpiece.
Right. The biggest one, arguably the person who got Donald Trump elected.
Yes.
Amongst young voters this past election. Like, he turned so many people into Trump voters who were just non-voters.
Yeah.
And so he was important. Everyone knew him. You're not meeting with Netanyahu unless you're of some sort of importance in the political sphere.
Yeah, he's someone with proven weight to throw around, proven importance in the political game, and especially amongst young people. And he was someone who was a avowed Zionist mouthpiece for years, and turned and made it clear, like, I can't do this anymore.
So why would it be necessary to kill him? Do you think that this could...
Because I think...
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, just, like, I think that the reason it wasn't necessary to kill him, it was just, like, he suddenly is no longer of use to the country of Israel, and what would be of use is, like, hey, this guy does nothing for us anymore, and will probably, like, given the track record, like, given his political influence and the fact that he's now breaking from us, and if we're looking at the way the tide is turning, he might all of a sudden, within 6 months or so, become someone who's doing more damage than not. And
but on top of
we're going to kill someone.
That would be who it would be. But on top of that, what this sets an insane precedent. Mm-hmm. As him being just a very moderate, non-extremist, by publicly assassinating him in a way that everyone can see the gore, it's instilled in their heads. Who the fuck is going to be out there doing that type of rallying again without paying, kissing the ring absolutely?
Yeah.
It's more of a message to everyone going forward that you can't do this because we will...
It sends a message.
Fucking kill you. We'll blow your head off.
Blow your head off on live TV if you betray us.
Right.
And that's the most Israeli shit I've ever heard.
I mean, theoretically, that's what it seems like based on past history. But right, so who's going to be out there? Who else is even in the position of doing what Charlie Kirk's doing? Steven Crowder, Tucker Carlson, right? Absolutely, Tucker Carlson, Steven Crowder. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Candace does a lot of public stuff. I don't think Nick Fuentes does anymore. But I imagine that's got to be a little bit
But
That'd be
also,
fretful for him.
And Nick Fuentes, like, I don't really think Nick Fuentes is in danger because, like, he has never been pro-Israel. Like, I think
That's right.
Really, I think the reason that the only person that that's a message to is Tucker is that, like, this is people that were Zionist and stopped.
People who turned against.
Yes.
Right. They never, not the never wers, just the
Yeah, because, like, Candace Owens never was pro-Israel. Nick Fuentes certainly wasn't. I don't know about Steven Crowder, one way or another.
I don't either.
But, yeah, like, I think like, Charlie Kirk was kind of in a unique spot of being, like, one of the only, like, up until recently, just solidly pro-Israel voices on the right that was, like, that switched teams.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely recently. I wonder where, obviously Joe Rogan's not a hard hitter in the political sphere in that exact same way, but I can see the tides turning, at least with the guests that he has on or the conversations that he's entertaining, where I want to see what they actually think about this, but obviously they have to be coy, they have to be candid.
Yeah. But I mean, he's had Dave Smith on, who...
That's right.
Like, talks about, this subject about as candidly as I do.
So, okay, so Israel possibly is responsible for assassination of Charlie Kirk. Did they hire the person? Who is this kid? Who is this person they found recently? I don't know his name off the top of my head, but they're trying to frame him out to be, just like a loony leftist trans person again. Probably wrote something on the bullet casings, which is cliche at this point. Like,
I think that, like, because if you remember yesterday, there was that whole, kind of, press release being like, hey, yeah, this was, we're looking into this. It looks like it's foreign influence. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, nope, never mind, guys. It was one of those darn leftists.
Yeah, right. The obvious answer, this is a conversation I was having with just my friends. We're saying, all right, let's take bets. Who's it going to be? And it's going to be a crazy furry who wrote his reasoning on the shells of the bullets, because that's what it fucking always is.
Yeah, they love doing that because it's like, this is how we know their ideology from just the bullets. Also, like, if the pictures of the sniper nest came out that day, there weren't any shell casings.
Yeah, well, I guess he collected them all, and then he must have just dropped them out of his pocket, maybe as he jumped off the roof and it's changed outfits again in the woods.
And it's like, did he keep the one fired round? Like,
dude, this shit fucking pisses me off because it's so...
It makes no sense.
It makes no fucking sense, and all I want is for people not to blindly fall for it. I don't care if they're super down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. I just don't want the average normie. I want the average normie just to wake up to the point where they say, at least I don't trust the official story anymore. So we're not going to be our boomer parents who just believe the first thing they're told. Well, they said it on TV. Yeah. Therefore, it must be real.
The passport in the rubble.
Yeah, why wouldn't they? Right. They found the fucking passport. Because, all right, I think about that.
Up in the fire that melted the black box of the airplane.
Do you remember those times where anyone with a reasonable question about how is that even possible, they're like, oh, you fucking loony. And now it's like, can anyone with modern sensibilities make sense of the 9/11 attacks at all?
Yeah, no, it's like, well, look, it was just the 3 times a building has done that. It happened that one day.
Yeah, right. No, it was all in one day, and it's not happened since. It never happened before. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's some anomalies.
Yeah, but what are you talking about, you communist? Buildings just magically turn into dust because they got hit by an airplane all the time. Like, except
and
for that,
so,
the Empire State Building got hit by a fucking airplane. It got hit by a B-29. Right. Didn't turn into a plume of asbestos dust.
Steel was a lot stronger back then. That's when We got it all from Detroit or some shit.
Yeah, and it's just... Yeah, no, it's just one of those things where people will... Like, honestly, I've noticed it is so frustrating. Like, because I've talked to people who have, the red triangle Palestine flag in their in their Twitter username, like, types, who are very, very left-leaning, and they're like, like, how dare you say that, like, the George W. Bush, like, government of the United States, and then the Ariel Sharon government of Israel would lie to us about what those evil, dirty Muslim terrorists did.
Right, because it's easy to follow. It's an easy to follow script, and
they hate
and
us
there's
for
this
our
in
freedom.
crowd. It's the funniest thing. They hate us. They hate us because we're free.
Yeah.
God damn it! I don't care. Hey man, listen. I was watching. Sorry to go off on a little tangent, but I was watching the Howard Stern 9/11 show. It was like the live reactions as 9/11 was happening, and this motherfucker has a script. Right? It's about maybe 30 minutes after both towers go down, and he's like, Howard's like, I'll tell you who this was. It was Palestine. And I say we just bomb all of them. We should bomb the women. We should bomb the children. We should just blow that whole place off the map. Why the fuck would you possibly be saying that after two planes that we have no information on it, hit these towers, and then all of a sudden you, as the top radio DJ in the country at the time, is instantly giving the game plan up of what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to indiscriminately bomb the women and children of Palestine and everyone else because Hamas did it. And then that's not even who we blamed it on.
Yeah, no, and it's like, the fact that, like, and I think that anyone who's, read any of the reports by, like, PNAC, Project for a New American Century, like, how, like, oh yeah, it's funny how, like, everyone that seemed to be involved in the, foreign policy arm of the George W. Bush presidency all came from this think tank, which was basically like, yeah, let's just, do another fake Pearl Harbor. And
right.
Literally, they straight up said, as far as, we can attest, short of a new Pearl Harbor, like this plan would be unable to be sold to the American public. And it's
all the USS Maine over and over and over again. It's what gets us into foreign wars by tricking the public consciousness into, well, they blew up our boys, therefore we have to do this.
Yeah.
And also an idea of having to be on the in crowd. Propaganda is alive and well. What I feel so fucking mad about this, because I thought that over the past maybe 10 years, the sensibilities of younger people was growing into a more skeptical mistrust of government narratives and escaping this left-right binary.
Yeah.
I thought everyone was kind of getting on board to the fact, like, wait a minute, the Democrats and the Republicans both might work for the same people and have the same agenda. Yes, but then something will happen like this, and everyone's like, you see the right saying, well, these are the fucking kooky lefts. We can't get along with them. No longer are we going to play ball by their rules. It's us only. And then the left saying the same thing, like, good, I'm glad Charlie Kirk got shot because he was preaching hate and the Republicans are blah, blah, blah. It's like, fuck you motherfuckers. Don't you realize they're turning you against each other when the enemy is above both of them?
Yeah.
Controlling both of them, to be cliche, to be that conspiratorial, yes, the puppet master, yes, both people work for the same corporation to make money for the same companies, for the most part, and the narrative works for both of them, and all it does is to separate us, to distract us from each other, and to make us fucking bicker amongst ourselves so that no one gives a fuck about, like we're saying, Israel's attack on Qatar, or...
Yeah, or in more broadly, like, whatever, like, just... Because I feel like, this is a very precarious spot for Israel right now, where it's like, because, there's been the recent, I think Australian and French recognition of Palestinian sovereignty, which is actually a pretty big one, because like if enough countries do
and
that,
Canada,
yeah, and if enough countries do that, then all of a sudden it will be like a completely like unavoidable just sort of like, basically, like, if enough countries sign on to that, the U.S. will invade the Netherlands.
Well, sorry, say that again. The U.S. will invade what?
The Netherlands. Do you know about that?
No.
There is a specific doctrine for, like, if Israel is going to is like held accountable in The Hague, that will be prevented by any means necessary, up to and including armed invasion of the Netherlands.
So how many people are on board with the countries are on board with the anti-Israel action, or acknowledging Palestine as its own country, and taking the threats from America that now we're going to stop trade to Canada, or we're going to add more tariffs because they did this or that? How far along is the world against Israel's actions at the moment?
So are you talking about the people or the leaders?
I guess I mean the leaders, because isn't that what matters? It has to be the countries have to recognize.
Because the countries have to recognize it. And I think that like there was kind of this coalition, because it's like this, it's sort of this overlap of like all the countries that are still basically in support of Israel, or like rather denying Palestinian statehood, Palestinian sovereignty. It's this sort of inclusive overlap of the Five Eyes countries, I guess with the exception probably of Saudi Arabia, with the Safari Club countries. Five Eyes countries is different. Like, Five Eyes countries is, that's also very funny, because it's, like, the whole deal with Five Eyes is that it's supposed to be this sort of consortium of classified information being shared between English-speaking countries, but then also Israel, they speak Hebrew. Like, so it's like this consortium of, like, NATO and Five Eyes and the Safari Club, with the exception of, I guess, not even, because, like, all of those countries are included in the former too, if I'm not including Saudi. I'm rambling here, but like there is this kind of Western, like this dispersed Western power locus of countries that, I don't really want to say it, but if I had to make a guess, a lot of videotapes their leaders.
Sure, right. There's sexual blackmail on a lot of leaders around the world. It could be sexual blackmail, it could be other blackmail.
Usually,
but despicable things are being used against them.
Or they're leaders that are just like someone like, Biden, who is just genuinely committed at all costs to the Zionist project.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the full scale of Biden. To me, he always just seemed like he was possibly just fully corrupted all around. Mm-hmm. They probably didn't need blackmail on him. They could have just cut him a check, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll do it."
Down for
it.
But so he was in it for the love of the game.
Yeah, right. He was a politician through and through, for sure. So, sorry, go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but just like I think that, like, people have kind of started wising up to, like, wait, I think, like, basically after the first person breaks from the script and doesn't get blackmailed, or, like, doesn't get their blackmail released because, then all of a sudden, I think there's a lot of copies of the archive.
Do you think that they have to be blackmailed in order to even get into the first small steps of this power structure? In order to even get to the point where you could be president, you already have to go through the secret clubs where you have to be peed on, or like you can't become the president unless you already have something that can be used against you.
Well, yeah, of course. But I think it's probably closer to halfway up.
Right. At some point, they pull you aside. You can get into local politics. You can be a state representative, and
Yeah,
then
you can become a
once
congressman, and then if you want to keep moving up, that's when
then
you got to eat.
they inject you.
Yeah, they inject you. They give you, you eat like a fried baby and banana sandwich or whatever the fuck. Like,
I mean, I would think they would just do something like this was the whole conspiracy around the P. Diddy stuff, not to take it away, but if you were a rapper in the studio and you're recording a song, they might, someone would say, hey, take a sip of my drink, here's some lean, or here's take a hit of this joint, and then next thing you know, you're fucking drugged up, and later at the meeting where you're negotiating the rights to your music, they show a video of yourself getting fucked in the ass by like a bunch of dudes or doing something despicable that you don't want out there. Then they say, now what is your negotiating, what percentage did you want of these records again?
No, that's completely what happens.
Yeah, and so, right. So I wonder if someone even like Kash Patel, and this is completely conspiratorial, but you're pitching yourself on, I'm going to release these documents, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then you get in there and you're scared-eyed on Joe Rogan going like, there is none. Wouldn't you believe me if there was? There certainly isn't.
Yeah. Like,
do you think they just fucking jabbed him real quick and then he passed out, and when he woke up, it's like, it's too late, bro.
Yeah, it's like, like, look at you, like, we gave you the drug from a Serbian film.
I haven't seen it.
Don't.
But I haven't heard good things.
But it's the explanation for like, oh dear Lord, why is he doing this? Is they gave him this like evil sex drug that makes him have sex evilly.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's just a mix of like what weird psychedelics and ecstasy and shit.
Benadryl and meth.
Is that what that is? It's like what did they give him in Hannibal, where he told Vergis? Fuck, I forget the character's name. He gave him a piece of glass, and he's like, "Peel your face off with this glass." Mason Verger, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they gave him like in the so you mean like in what Hannibal 2001?
That was in Hannibal, where he was an old student of his of Hannibal Lecter's.
Like, do you mean the show where it was Michael Pitt, or like the movie where it was Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman, the movie. So he had tied him up, and he told him to cut his face off
of the glass. Yeah,
and feed it to the dog.
Yeah, I think they gave him PCP in that.
I think that's what it was. Yeah,
because it's like it makes you suggestible and also makes you like dissociated from pain.
Right. So anything like that can make you absolutely fucking insane. And well, I mean, I guess the rabbit hole that this would have been is this is how they can compromise all these leaders, because anyone who thinks that they could be above this, you'd be the research on how to make a suggestible mind and to allow people to do things that they wouldn't otherwise ever want to do has been going around for a long fucking time, since like Sidney Gottlieb.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Fucking exactly. Yeah. So it's like I think so actually just to, and I think also it's getting a little we've been recording for like almost an hour and a half. So it'll be a good episode, but like the last thing I want to touch on is the thing with Kash Patel's girlfriend. Like, how closely have you followed that?
Is she a dual citizen?
So I don't know exactly what the deal is. It seems a little bit like she has a fake identity. Like, a lot of people are like, this is like, no, like, I know this person, like, she is, like, she works for the Mossad. Like, 100% she does. And then she's like, no, I'm an American country music person. But I saw a post, and this is just kind of a jokey meme, but I think might have some credence to it, posted by Sean McCarthy, who I'm a big fan of. Like I followed him for years. I would say the one pure-hearted white Maoist. He posted the picture of Kash Patel with his girlfriend and said, like, hey baby, could you fire the head of the FBI field office in Utah? Why? No, for no reason. And along with a link to the head of the FBI field office in Utah getting replaced like a couple days before the shooting.
Right. And so just going off this girlfriend. So I typed in Kash Patel girlfriend, and here's a telling sign in my head. The AI overview is Kash Patel's girlfriend is Alexis Wilkins, country music artist, writer, political commentator. They have been publicly dating for 2 years, and Wilkins recently sued ex-FBI agent Kyle Serafin for defamation after he made false claims that she was a former Israeli Mossad agent involved in a honeypot operation. So it's like the allegation is in the description of the person.
Yeah, and if you look at the two of them together, it's like, why would she be dating him before he was the FBI director?
Well, I'm sure he's funny. It's not because he's cross-eyed and he looks like a weird version of that fucking comedian that got canceled.
Yeah, he's like he looks like he looks like Aziz Ansari with like a different stat distribution.
A different yeah, right. Part of a different caste system or level of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's very funny. Maybe he's super charming. I don't know Kash Patel. I never really heard of him.
Like, he's not.
Bro, I haven't even heard. He's not. No, he's a fucking weird talking dude. He's a weird looking dude. Whatever clout he had before, I never fucking heard of him. I know Dan Bongino just through passing words, but
yeah, like I only knew Dan Bongino just because I was from Maryland. Like,
right.
And I would see.
No, she's way out of his scale though. She's a 11 and he's a 3.7.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it's the most obvious. It's like, wow, like, damn, I wouldn't have expected that. Like, I moved to San Francisco after getting like my super secret job at OpenAI, and now like I've got this incredibly beautiful Chinese girlfriend, like, who's really interested in my work. And
I met her at a party at some billionaire's house.
And it's just like, like, oh buddy, come on.
Well, listen, I Googled it and it said that was a conspiracy theory. She's definitely not a honeypot, working as an ex-Mossad agent, according to Google AI. So, I mean, that's really all I have to go by, or else I have to listen to crazy crackpot conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, just like how, today Netanyahu did an interview being like, we didn't kill Charlie Kirk.
Okay, well, hey, we didn't say you did. I mean, we did.
Glad to know that. I was worried for a second there.
Yeah, whew, yeah, huge weight off my shoulders. All right, cool. We can cross off Israel's involvement in the Charlie Kirk. So, all right, how confident are you that it was Israel? What do you think the chances are that it really could just be a crackpot? Because there are crackpots. I mean, these are people who do commit a lot of school shootings. I don't think there was anything about, the Parkland shooting or Elliot Rodger or anything that would scream this makes any sense. But these aren't high-profile hits. They're sloppy and they're lazy and they're low-level, striking back at society. Whereas Charlie Kirk being murdered is an insanely high-profile thing. It's insanely inflammatory and divisive amongst the left and the right at a time where we should all, and seemingly we're kind of focusing in on what the fuck is up with the Epstein tapes? What is up with the weird behavior of our leaders, and who are these people, and what are they doing?
We're not talking about. Like, I think that really, like, and this is going to sound like this is. Like, it's not like a logical argument, but at the same time, in my opinion, it kind of is. Just, it's a logical argument if you agree with my view of human nature and, just tendencies of people. I think that if this was a truly just like a, some 20-year-old without military background, whatever. Like, if this was someone who this is their first time shooting someone, and for whatever reason, like, they're shooting Charlie Kirk with a sniper rifle, like, they would have shot him in his giant head.
Yeah. So maybe, I mean, that's where I thought maybe they just missed. They were off.
I'm willing to accept that. But then also, like, if they're trying to spin that, because, like, they're pretty clearly trying to be like, this is another, like, far left terrorist but, like, Charlie Kirk is not, like, a lot of people, obviously are celebrating his death gleefully, but that's not the name that would have come to mind.
No, not at all. No, that's what's surprising.
Would have killed Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, I could understand because he's inflammatory.
And he was the one that was, like, way more, like, relevant to the group of, way more relevant to the kind of crowd of people that they're trying to point the finger at with this.
Do you think that this is taking away from the rise of the influence of Nick Fuentes, which has been happening pretty rapidly over the past few months? I've seen.
No, I think this, if anything, increased the rise of Nick Fuentes. Like, he had 152,000 viewers on Kick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the day after, like the highest I think that anyone on Kick ever has had.
Shit.
Or, like, does he stream on Kick? Where the fuck does he stream?
He's on Rumble.
Or Rumble. Like, he was on... maybe that makes more sense. I think he probably had the highest view count that Rumble... Because I saw that, like... I definitely know he had over 150k viewers, which is a fucking insane number.
For Rumble, yeah, that's huge.
Rumble,
and the amount of views
Twitch.
he was getting... Yeah.
Like...
As a live streamer, it's incredible.
Yeah, and it's like... He is the far-right voice of the youth. Like... I would say, like, at least according to other.
So that's why I think it made sense if this was a lesson to be taught. If this was intentional. This is to show that you can't even be a fucking moderate. You can't even be I'll debate you right in front of you and blah blah blah. Like, you don't have to be on a soapbox in your house in hiding. Like Jean Paul Marat or whatever, like, he's out there just saying, sure, we can all disagree with each other. Head blown off. Okay, well, fuck. What is the option then for anyone who has political discourse? And for the people cheering it on, what does that mean for the average person who has opinions?
Charlie Kirk, or is to the right of Charlie Kirk, would they also be in favor of them getting their head blown off?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a fucking political person for the most part. And I'm certainly fall somewhere in some weird gray area all around the political spectrum.
Yeah,
but
same here.
Yeah, I cannot imagine if, because people will find a reason to hate you no matter who you are. If they love you, the second that you fall out of the favor of the in crowd, people will pretend like they've always hated you. They've always thought that you, Flesh Simulator, you're some right-wing fucking extremist. He always pretends to be left-wing, but actually he loves guns and, runs cover for Nazis.
Yeah, I'm very familiar. And it's, like, people will, people will latch on to whatever, but it's, like, with this, like, it's this whole, like, I could not craft in my mind a single better, just complete accelerationist escalatory event.
I was trying to think of someone else in a similar, and this might be dangerous to even talk about, but like someone similar to him, but not him. Like, if it was Hassan? That seems like that would be an extreme thing, but maybe
I don't think it would be the same thing. Like, it would be like it would, like. I feel like I might have to,
because there really isn't anyone like that on the left
about it being Hassan, and I don't think it's going to be Hassan. But it's like I don't want to like name names of like like maybe second rung kind of moderate,
I guess I guess I was just trying to think of like, how is this comparable? If I was to put this in perspective to myself, and I don't want to name.
I don't want to give people ideas because,
yeah,
because I sure don't want to be like, I got this idea from this podcast. He was like, yeah,
Well,
he said this would do the opposite of that thing.
Well, I said it. You can cut it out if you want. But
no, it's totally fine.
David Pac-Man.
That's who I was thinking of. God damn it. Yeah.
No one knows who the fuck David Pac-Man is unless they're
very online or like into politics or both. But yeah, no, that is straight up who I was thinking of. But okay, we are probably gonna have to bleep that.
Sure.
Because he's had a rough couple of weeks.
I'm sure. I mean, I won't keep talking about him, but certainly has.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think anyone who is already familiar will know just from that, and that's fine, but people who are like, all right, who's the, like, just Googling, like, left-wing Charlie Kirk, they're not going to find it.
Yeah, it's not going to be the first person to pop up.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that I've said pretty much all I have to say on this matter. Now I got to go, I guess, edit this together so I can get it out probably tomorrow while it's still hot.
Oh man, I'm sorry for talking so fucking much because I know this is supposed to be concise.
No, this is great. Like I'm like it was also originally supposed to be concise because I didn't know if I was gonna have that much to say on it, but this worked really well. Like and also a longer podcast is generally better a lot of times.
I agree.
Yeah, so is there anything? Actually, I'm sure that you do have something you want to plug, which is your new channel.
Sure, my new YouTube channel. Of course, the old one is Rusty Cage, but the Rusty Cage Show on YouTube, if you can find it, that's where I'm posting stuff now. I'm sure anyone can find me from anywhere if they really want to see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like, more importantly, Rusty has a new channel that is, like, putting out longer form, very good content. And
I had to switch channels because the last one, I'm pretty sure, had been kind of compromised over the years through various red flags of saying the wrong stuff and kind of got grandfathered into a poisoned account. So I created a new one, starting over from fresh, and it feels good.